And welcome back to MD Global Muscle here at the On The Rise Media Studio with me, your host, Giles Thomas. And we're joined by British UK pro, but actually in Dubai right now, Lewis Breed.
Hey.
How you doing, mate? How are you, Lewis? Right, so now we'll come to why you're in Dubai. Actually, let's talk about that now. Why you're a UK pro in the open class. But when I messaged you, you said, oh no, there's a 4-hour time difference. And I said, well, where the hell are you? And you said, I'm in Dubai. So tell us about that, mate.
Just basically, I'm here throughout the whole of my off season.
Wow.
When I'm at home, I'm a dad first and a bodybuilder second. But when you get to this level, in order to push towards the top, bodybuilding has got to come first.
Yeah.
Between me and my partner, we made the decision that I was going to head out here and just purely be able to put my training and my recovery first, while she's at home sort of doing the mum thing, looking after the kids, keeping the house nice and tidy, that sort of thing. So that's basically the reason.
So how is that working then? How have you managed to, how have you, the practicalities of, like with what you do for a living and stuff like that, how does that all work?
Luckily, I sort of work for myself. I just do a little bit of online coaching, so I can do that anywhere.
Great.
So that doesn't affect things. Just got myself a little apartment out here, close to the gym, Benus, I can just spend my time training, recovering. I'll get everything I need out here. It's so easy to get anything you need, sort of for recovery purposes. So it's just the perfect place to be. And obviously the gym, there's a lot of big names there. So you're in a really good environment. The gym the equipment in the gym is just vast. I come from a very small town down in the south of England, in Plymouth. So to go from there to a big environment like this is it's already benefited me tenfold.
So is it the gym with the Captain America plates?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the one, because I had Mohammed Foda on the other week. And he trains at your gym, and obviously you've got guys like Larry Wheels, Ryan, what's his name? Ryan Crawley, the guy who tore his pec. He used to train there. I don't know if he still does.
Sergio Oliva.
Oh, wow.
He trains here.
Okay.
Got the big Ukrainian, what's he called? Vlad, is it? Yeah, he trains here. So there's a lot of big sort of serious guys that train here. And a few sort of good UK guys as well, pros that train here as well, Darren Farrell, Jamie Durago, and things like that. So you're just in a great environment with like-minded people. So what can you do that's so different and so much better out there that you can't do back home? Recovery is the main thing. For example, I come from a family, me and my partner, we've got 6 kids between us.
Wow. Wow.
That's a handful in itself.
Yeah.
But for example, I would get up at 4:30 in the morning because I would do my cardio before the kids woke up, because I wouldn't want to take my that time away from them, getting them ready for school, that sort of thing. So I'd sleep 3-4 hours a night. I'm not a great sleeper anyway.
Wow.
You don't get time up during the day because you've got kids. So I've got little kids as well, so they're not always at school. Just being able to prioritize recovery more than anything has been a big factor as to why I'm here and the progression I have made.
Yeah, pretty much Brandon Curry gave the same argument. He's like, because I think they had 4 kids, I think 3 from his marriage, and then she had 1 from a previous relationship. Yeah. And obviously it's not that kids are a distraction, but they do take up a lot of time and energy to be a parent.
As a father, when you are around the children, they will always come first.
Yeah.
But you're a dad, you know what I mean? So not taking them out the equation, but being away from them, their mum's putting them first, whereas I will focus on this, which if you want to get to that next level, fortunately you've got, like you said, Brandon Curry does that. He left and went to Oxygen for sort of months on end, and the progress he made, that first time he went to Oxygen, for example, was so apparent.
Yeah.
Because you are just living and breathing it, so that's the reason.
Well, he went from the 2016 Olympia. He was asked at the press conference, because I was there, and they said, we heard you might be dropping down to 212. He turned up 220 and squishy, really out of condition. He was last call out. And then 3 years later at the 2019 Olympia, And in between, he went from 8th, 5th to 1st. And that's only in like 2.5 years. So the argument holds up. So was that kind of example an influence in your decision?
Yeah, definitely. I'm not saying I'm going to step on stage and win the Olympia next year, but that's a perfect example. For me, my peak off-season last year was 256. Yeah. I'm currently 278.
Sorry, how much?
278.
You're 270. Hang on, how tall are you? You're only short.
5'9".
5'9".
5'7".
5'7", and you're 278.
Yeah, so I'm 25 pound heavier than I've ever been, but in just shape as I was at 250 something, So, and that's purely down to being able to just put bodybuilding first.
Wow. So, obviously, you're a family man. Is it tough being away from your kids and your wife? And are you struggling?
Very. I've never been away from them for more than a couple of weeks. However, last week, my partner, she did surprise me. She turned up with all of them without even. We had a little holiday, which was great because I do a little bit of a break from the intense training. So she turned up, completely surprised me with all the kids. So we had a nice holiday. So that was good. So I got to see them, and that sort of spurred me on for the next couple of months.
So why'd you buy, though? Why'd you buy? No, why not Kuwait or somewhere like, say, Vegas or because a lot of athletes now, Rafael Brandeo's going to Vegas because he said he needs to do it to focus. Brandon Curry, Vlad Sorochko has gone from Ukraine to Dubai. So what's? I asked this to Mohammed Foda. What's the big deal about Dubai?
Well, I came here last year just for a few weeks. I got the opportunity. I've got a very good friend that was here, and he said, "Why don't you come on out just for a few weeks and experience the place?" And I did that, and I was just blown away. Obviously, Binos is the main gym I train at, but we're only a 50-minute drive also from Oxygen in Abu Dhabi.
Oh, wow.
So you've got that facility as well. So you've got the option of training at both. Completely different gyms, but both are incredible. I trained at Binos when I was here last time, and just to be around so many sort of like-minded people and big names was a massive influence on me. When you come from a little town, you're sort of the big fish in a small pond. It's a breakout of that. And and that's why. And I'd seen so many people come to sort of Dubai and progress so much. So that was the reason why I chose here.
I think if you find the right place for you, it's like Kamal. He said the best thing he ever did was leave Northampton and go to Florida. He said it was like he went out himself first, and then wanted to see what the score was and see how. And he said just it's not just the equipment or whatever, or training with Nick Walker or training with Derek Lunsford. He said it's just the attitude. He said, like you said there, the key words were like-minded people that want to see you progress. You're looking over at Mohammed Foda and Vlad sort of, barbell rowing 5 plates and Sergio, who's, and everyone's hungry. Everyone's there for a reason, for a purpose, So I imagine it fires you up.
Even if you don't know them personally, for like Sergio and things like that, there's a massive mutual respect. As soon as you see each other, there's a massive mutual respect. You shake hands instantly because, you look at each other and you're on that same path, and that's a massive difference as well. But not only that, being here, for example, with like recovery, things like getting a sort of a vitamin IV drip, which I contacted somebody, and within 15 minutes a nurse was here.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So just everything is so readily available. My recovery, things like that back from my hometown are very, very difficult. So all in all, it's been an incredible experience. Obviously, being away from the family is a tough one, but we both decided, me and my partner, to put this first, so that's where we are.
So, who are you training with, and who are you trained by?
I train. I've had a couple of sessions with a couple of pros, sort of in Binos, but I'm very set in my ways with my training and what works. So I do quite enjoy training by myself, because when you train with somebody else, you tend to sort of veer towards their style of training or something they may want to do. Whereas in this game, you've got to be selfish. You've got to do what works for yourself, not what works for your trainer. So I do tend to spend most of my time training by myself. On the big sets, the big exercises, I've got plenty of people I know that will give me a hand and push me through that. But I do like training by myself. I'm coached by UK coach Martin Winston, condition coach.
I've never heard of this guy.
He's a fantastic coach in the UK. He does coach obviously worldwide, but he's one of the top sort of UK coaches. He's had a few guys that have won pro cards, multiple British champions and regional champions and things like that. But I've worked with him since since I was amateur. Mm-hmm. So we've worked together for quite some time, and he knows my body so well. And he knows exactly how to manipulate things. And we've progressed year after year, always come in bigger, leaner, every show we've done. So if the proof's in the pudding, if it's not broke, don't try and fix it.
Yeah. So a couple more final questions on Dubai and that gym in particular. Do you actually hang around, or do you speak to much of with the other pros there, like Sergio or Vlad, or anything like that?
Yeah. Not outside of the gym. Okay. You always will sort of catch up and say hello and have a short sort of chat in the gym. Ricardo as well. Ricardo Correa. Yeah. Good friend Ricardo. We catch up quite a lot in the gym as well. Mm-hmm. He's over here. He trains with Fuda. So yeah, you do catch up with them in the gym, which is nice. Outside of the gym, not so much. Just purely because I spend most of my time just sort of relaxing and trying to recover, because I've never really done what I've always been, running around after the 6 kids, so to speak.
Do you like Dubai?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Apart from the heat, I'm not a big fan of the heat.
Yeah. A little bit too, well, we are British, so.
But other than that, everything else about it is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
So what would you say is the biggest responsible factor for you putting on kind of that much body weight? Because I've seen you're a big guy, but I'm trying to actually visualize you in the flesh at 278, because that's freaking huge, mate.
Yeah, and to be fair, I'm off season, but to be fair, my body composition is not too bad at that weight.
Sorry to interrupt. You actually look like if you told me before we'd started filming and say I'm 270, I'd expected your head to fill the screen, mate. I'd expected a big D-ball head,
I've managed to, like I said, my body composition at that weight is even surprised me.
Wow, that's incredible.
And again, because when I'm back home, I would sleep 3-4 hours a night, whereas at the moment I've never been a big sleeper, but at the moment I'm sleeping 7 hours a night, plus I'm napping in the afternoon for another hour. So that's huge in itself, just in terms of recovery. One of the things I've always lacked, because my life has always revolved around the children.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't live without my naps, mate, and I'm not like a bodybuilder trying to get to trying to get a lot of size on,
Yeah.
So right, let's because we'll come to last year's contest in a little bit, but now I want to go back to. I mean, you've kind of already answered my question by talking about your children, your family. I remember that photo you always use, the one I took of you at the British finals in 2011. You took third behind Cecil Crowsdale. Who was second? Was Cecil first?
The super heavyweight.
Oh, sorry, you were Anth Bales.
No. I was. Do you remember? Oh, what was he called?
Oh, you were 100 kilo. Sorry, Geraldus Dombrascus was first. Who was second?
It was one of the brothers.
Serwan.
It was two of them. Yes.
Serwan Aljaf, and then you were third. And I remember because I not long started my Euro Muscle Scene column for MD. This was 2011, guys, the British finals. And I remember when you came out, because I'd seen you as a junior a few years before, and I saw you, and you were 23 then?
23, yes.
And honestly, that you absolutely, one shot you used, the one hand on hip most muscular that I took, I think you've used it in your I've seen it on your profile and everything. And it's just like, holy shit. I mean, it was like, you're talking about Nick Walker at 26. I mean, you were like, it was like you were like a UK version of Nick Walker, but at 23. I mean, your legs, everything. You were thick. And I mean, I was like, and I said, I raved about you in my column, and I said, look, 23 years old. I said, this guy's going to be incredible. And then
I I remember your quote. It was, "Remember the name Lewis Breed." That was the little quote in that magazine. I remember. Yeah, it was. It was good times. It was good times. But I, as you probably might be getting onto that, was from then I didn't compete for 7 years.
Yeah. You just, like I said, you were like, you hit the scene and it was like, holy shit. I said, this guy's probably going to win the British next year. This is the one, like I said the year before, I said, when Nathan D'Asha was in the audience, and I said, this guy will probably win next year. That was the year Ricardo won in 2013. You know, and Ant Bales won. I said, I was pretty good at spotting, you know, I said, if this guy, it's going to be a formality. He's going to turn pro in the next couple of years. Then obviously you probably started the family and then that was it. You didn't compete for 7 years. So what was that like?
From when I was a junior, if you look back, you think Nathan D'Asha won the junior British the year before me.
Yep.
Then I won the British, and then James Hollinghead won the junior British the year after me.
Yep.
You know, and both of those guys continued and are now amongst obviously the best in the world. Whereas I took 7 years out. Started a family, but I was also in, because this was with my ex-partner, I wasn't in a particularly happy relationship, so I was starting a family, not in a particularly great place, so bodybuilding just sort of, I always trained, I always ate well, but just sort of wasn't on the forefront of my mind. Massive shame, because I'd always think to myself, where would I be if I hadn't taken that time off? But everything happens for a reason.
Life gets in the way. I mean, there's lots of bodybuilders that have things to overcome, whether it be your situation with family and relationships, or people have injuries, or, you know, I mean, there's dozens of reasons. But, you know, if you really want to do it, like you've proven, you will come back. You will fulfill that potential. And thing is, you actually had really good muscle maturity for 23-year-old. It's not like you had baby muscle that needed refinement or detail. I mean, you had everything there. So I'm not trying to rub it in, but the main thing is, you know, you did come back, and then was it 2018 you came back and really you basically returned to the scene, and I was like, fantastic. I'm so happy to see him back.
Yeah, was it end of 2018 it was.
Yeah.
I made a comeback. Went out to Italy and did the amateur Olympia out there, and got second, and then chased it a couple of times. I won the Ben Wider in the UK, then I went to Spain and I got second out there. So I missed out.
Yeah.
On a couple of times.
It was like you and, because Jamie the Giant was chasing the pro card as well, and he was getting really sort of thirds, like he was up there. Do you know what I mean? He was like literally seconds and thirds and fourths like you, and it was like, and you both of you just kept on going, didn't you?
Yeah. And then, but then obviously COVID hit, didn't it? COVID hit, but then I entered a show as soon as the COVID restrictions lifted in early 2020.
Yep.
And that was when I won the qualifier and then got my pro card then.
And still pretty young as well. I mean, you weren't like, it wasn't kind of like too late for you.
No. As you know, in bodybuilding, you don't peak to sort of your late 30s, sometimes even your early 40s.
Yep.
So yeah, I turned pro at 32, 33.
Yeah, it's not too late. I mean, it's, you know, I mean, if you can turn pro before you're 35, really, then you can still give yourself a good a good pro career is anywhere from 5 to 10 years. If you really, you've done, like you've gone out to Dubai and you can really focus and really give it your all. It's like you haven't missed the boat, and then it's just, you know, it's still worth giving a go. It's basically what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Well, I'm 35 now, so in my eyes, I've got a solid 5 years before you then look at, you know, do you possibly look at sort of retiring after that? But yes, we are now.
And thing is, I mean, we were myself and Lauren obviously were at Prague, and we were at what are the shows we were at? There's Prague. What are the other ones we did live stream? Romania. You did Romania, didn't you? Yeah. So the thing is. And you're not afraid to compete, you know. You've had thing is, like, I'd say you're kind of like the top of the second call out guys right now, which is not, thing is, these shows have had big lineups, they've been deep lineups, you know, you've been up against good names, you've had some good call outs, you've had some good, they've really given you a good look. I mean, I think it might have been Prague where they kept calling you out, and you could see the judges were like, okay, let's give this guy a chance, let's mix it up a bit. So tell us.
I hit the first call out in Spain.
Yep.
But then and ended up just outside the top 6. I ended up 7th.
Yeah.
But sort of like first in line on the second call out in Prague, like you said.
Yeah.
But obviously, so I know I'm sort of, like you said, top end of the first call out, but my aim is to be right inside those first call outs, that's what this is for.
It's actually a good starting point, because now it's not like you did one show and you got second call out and 7th, 8th, and then that was it. And then, you did a few shows and you held that position in different lineups, in deeper lineups, so you're a legit top end second call out guy with good names. But now, with like putting on some like 20, 25 pounds, that is probably going to shift you up into that kind of first call out conversation.
But that's the aim. With my height, I was 5'7", about 235 on stage.
Wow.
In my eye, if I could be about 245, 5'7",
yeah, that would
really put me within the mix.
Yeah.
So that is the aim towards the end, later part of this year.
I would, if someone probably asked me about you, I'd probably say he's kind of like a British Nick Walker. That kind of same sort of height, thickness, potential, Yeah. I kind of see you as that kind of style physique. It's like it's never going to be an aesthetic pretty physique, but it's freaking, You're not missing anything. You're thick, you're detailed, there's striations everywhere. Sorry, say it again. You cut out.
Thick as a brick.
There you go. There we go. That's one of mine, guys. That's one of mine, guys. You used it on your Instagram, didn't you? Because I kept saying in my reports, on the play-by-play on MD Forum, and on the live stream, I said he's just thick as a brick. That's the only way I can describe him, guys.
Yeah, I know I'm not the most aesthetic guy. I know I've not got that tiny little waist, the big round sort of muscle bellies. So I got to play to my strength. I know I've got thickness. I know I've got some density there. I know I can bring pretty good condition.
Yeah.
If I can just add some slabs of meat into certain areas, in this period, then like we said, the aim is to be right inside those first call outs.
Because thing is, like, you're not missing any body part. You look good in every single compulsory pose. You've got no real weaknesses. And you consistently, because I saw you in Spain, I saw you in Romania, I saw you in Prague, with my own eyes, you heard our live stream commentary. Your conditioning is extremely consistent. I mean, you weren't off and on and you come into the prejudging strong, you come into the final strong. You're not someone that really kind of is up and down. You're very consistent.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the first time I've done 3 shows sort of back to back. But we managed to sort of maintain and hold our peak quite well through all three shows. You see a lot of guys, they'll peak for one and then they can't hold it for the next, or they're not first one but then they bring it back for the sort of second or third. Whereas I do think we managed to sort of, like you said, maintain a good sort of stage look throughout all 3 shows.
Yeah, and you held your position and like I said, your level through all the shows, because I saw some European guys, and there was one or two guys I can think of right now. I won't mention the names, and one was second in one show and then third in one show, and then a couple of shows later they were falling to like 14th. And it's like, my God, how disheartening must that be when you're kind of going, right, okay, I'm only one step away from winning, and then you go into a show and you're like third call out getting 14th place. I bet it really must mess with your head. But at least you were every single second call out in every single one of those shows. They were calling you out, and it was almost like a duplicate. Do you know what I mean? So that's, I mean, consistency is actually probably one of the, and especially if it's shows that are back to back, if you can hold that, that's going to serve you well as a pro.
Yeah, definitely. And the plan is to do obviously a few shows again this year, because we know I can manage and sort of hold that condition. But hopefully with, some extra tissue on my frame.
My God, I think you're going to have quite a bit, because if you've only been out there a couple of months and you're already like 20, 25 pounds up, I mean, you're going to be bringing something quite different this year.
Yeah, that is the aim, and that is the sacrifice of, being away from the family. But it's clearly benefiting, and I've still got plenty of time before I go into a prep yet, so there's still room for more improvement.
Yeah, let's talk about those. Which Spain show was it? Was it because I was there. Which one was it? Because I went to 3 of them, didn't we?
Not last year. It was the Europa one.
That was in. When was that?
You didn't go to that one.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking about the one the year before.
Oh, my pro debut.
Yeah, that was good. That was good. That was top 10, wasn't it? You got.
Yeah, I did the lineup about 20, and I ended up 9th, so I was happy with that for a pro debut.
And the thing is, they kept calling you out and out and out, and I was like, well, you probably heard my commentary if you listened to it, and I said, like, they're giving Lewis a really good look here. I said, that's great to see a new guy, because obviously, like, they'd never seen you before, and then once you actually started posing, they were probably like, okay, let's give him another chance. And I'm glad they gave you. They didn't just give you one call out and then that's just left you. You know, they gave you a proper scrutinization there. Is that a word?
Yeah. Yeah, no, they did. And it was the same this year at the Spain show. And because I was in that first call out and I stayed there for a while, and then they brought me out at the beginning of the second call out, and you know, so they really got a good look at me in both Spain shows. Yeah. I ended up my best place in the second Spain show, 7th. So
Do you fancy doing any American shows?
That is the plan.
Yeah.
That is the plan. Obviously, there's a couple sort of August time, isn't there? Obviously, they're big shows, but you've got Texas and you've got Tampa. So we are sort of looking into those, just because I think to sort of try and get my face out of a little bit stateside. Yeah. It's what you need to do. That you know the European shows are incredible and the depth of the lineups are really, really good, but to sort of familiarise yourself stateside with the judges and whatnot is definitely a must.
Plus, any experience you can get as, you know, like that travelling that far that you can get, because like I said, it's hard travelling even to a European show and trying to prep, but you know, going to America, that's kind of the end game. That's kind of where you want to end up at these big shows, the Arnolds, the Olympias. That's kind of that's the end game, really. So if you can get an experience of travelling that far and, you know, sort of peaking for a show, I think maybe just get started now. I think maybe throw 1 or 2 shows in there if you can.
Yeah, so that's the aim. If all goes well with this off-season, which seems to be, then we're looking at a couple in August. Okay. And then after that, there's a couple again in Europe, maybe like Italy, France, or possibly Spain again, you know. So that's sort of the plan we're looking at if all goes well. Good.
Now, obviously, being a Brit, we're feeling pretty smug right now with Samson winning the Arnold Classic. I mean, it's the first kind of major win, really, since Dorian in 97. I mean, apart from Flex Lewis, obviously winning the 212. But in the Open, I mean, that's an absolutely incredible thing for British bodybuilding. What was that like when you saw him win that, mate?
Oh, sorry, mate. I'm just plugging my phone in because I don't want it to die on.
It's all right. Carry on.
Yeah, incredible. I mean, I remember seeing Samson guest pose end of 2018 at the Amateur Olympia in Coventry.
Yeah, I was there.
And no, I wasn't. No, I remember he's a great poser, but he's not massive for a pro. And progression the man has made since then is just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. But he did the same thing. You know, he was showing up at a lot of shows, making a lot of appearances and just creeping up the ranks time after time. And then before you know it, you know, his structure and his frame is just incredible. You know, he's got such great sort of symmetry and structure, and the muscle he's now put on. I think he was like, what was he, 290 something at the Arnold this year?
He was 297. Now he's only won 2 pro shows. And the first one was the Prague show in 2021, which was November 2021. So what's that, a year and a half ago? Is that right? Year and a half? So what's that, 16 months? When he won that show, he was 270. So, yeah. So then 4 months later, he did the Arnold Classic. He was 280. Then he did the Olympia, and he weighed in depleted 294.7 or something. And then literally 10 weeks later, he's weighing in at like I said, before his carb up and everything, 297. So he's a Nando's away from 300.
Yeah, but what's incredible with that is he's put on that much muscle whilst most of the time being in prep for a show.
There you go.
Not like he's had a 12-month off season, you know, and put on a fair. He's done that while still competing in multiple shows. It's just absolutely incredible. And the worth it.
And you can't say that he's blown the aesthetics, can you?
No, not in the slightest. He has packed a load of tissue on, and then he can't control his midsection, or anything like that. It's just all gone exactly where it needs to. You know, the flare in his quads, the thickness and roundness to his chest, shoulders, arms. His back was one of the areas that he was getting beaten on. You know what I mean? When a year ago, and he's brought that up massively. He's just and not only he's the most humble man as well. He is the most humble man with it all, and he deserves everything. I mean, the rate he's progressed. You look towards the Olympia at the end of this year, and with his structure and his shape, if he continues to progress the way he is, you've got a Mr. Olympia on your hands there. Yep,
you just answered my next question actually, because you've got to really gauge. Like I said, if you had the photos lined up, I've done it. I've looked at all the photos. I've gone through his Instagram. I've gone through, everything. And I've looked at the rate of progression, because the one thing, the guys you should always keep an eye on is not how they show up looking at this show. It's how the difference between each show. And if they can consistently bring improvements, and also listen to the feedback. Because like I said last year, I felt like his chest needed more. I felt like he needed a bit more development in his chest. Now, I said to Milos last week, I think he's got the best chest in pro bodybuilding right now. And also, and I was talking to Milos again, and I had the photo in here, because an article I wrote on Samson called The Most Improved Bodybuilder of 2022. And I looked at the rear double bicep, and that was only from the Olympia. So that was like 10 weeks difference. And honestly, the difference. So like you said, in 7 months, if he keeps improving, and it's not even whether we have to say if, because we don't know whether he will, because, body, he might top out, body weight wise. But thing is, he could get more separated. He could get more balanced. He could get the waist smaller. There's a lot of things you can do to a physique, not just necessarily coming in bigger and kind of heavier, as he's proven, So it's, like you said, 7 months, mate. I mean, I've got a feeling I think Derek and Hadi are going to have their hands full.
Yeah, I mean, Derek will make improvements, because that was his first time in the Open, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So he relatively new in the Open. Mm-hmm. Hadi, realistically, how much can he improve now? Mm-hmm. He's kind of on his frame, almost sort of maxed out, but he's incredibly good, obviously, Mr. Olympia, and there's a reason for it. But I just think, in my opinion, Derek and Samson have the potential to progress more this year than Hadi will. Yeah. So I definitely think those two are going to be both massive front runners for the Olympia. Obviously, Nick's going to be up there. Yep. Hadi will be there. Ramy, is his time coming past? I don't know. He's still an absolute freak. But the judges didn't seem to like it a great deal at the Arnold, did they? He was better than he was at the Olympia.
He was. I'll be honest, I didn't expect it. I was kind of hoping that he wasn't going to come in even worse than Olympia. But I think that my theory is that because they were supposed to be there for 6 o'clock and pretty much expecting to get on stage around 7, they said. Some of the athletes said, and then they went on stage to like 11:30. I think the really, really big guys, I think it affects more the lateness, the timing. Whereas the shorter, more compact guys, I feel like they can hold it better.
Yeah, I agree.
So
trying to maintain that fullness and that crispness when you are that big, when you're sort of exceeding 300 pounds, is like, it's very. The timing has got to be spot on, like you said. Slightly more sort of short and compact guys will be able to hold that fullness and that look a little bit easier. Mm-hmm. Whereas the likes of Ramy, even Samson, being that sort of frame is obviously a little bit more difficult. But it's certainly going to be another incredibly interesting Olympia. There are no people running away with it at the minute, are there? So it can be interchangeable between 3 or 4 guys easily.
I mean, the Arnold Classic, for me, the whole top 5 was close. But this Olympia, I mean, you could see Hadi win it again, or you could see Hadi come in 6th. It could happen because, like you said, there's a bit of a question mark around Ramy now. There's a question mark around a lot of these guys, like Nick, is going to be in shape. He's going to be freaky. So he's always going to be up there. Samson, is going to be improved.
And is full at the Arnold, but he was certainly sharper, and his midsection control, because he's not got the tightest of waist, but his midsection control was incredible at the Arnold, I thought.
Yeah.
So, what route is he going to go? Is he going to try and push up again? How much more muscle can you put on that frame? So it's going to be a very interesting year. Very interesting year.
So of those 3 shows last year, because I saw you at 2 of them, what was your favourite look? What was the favourite look that you were really most happy with?
My coach prefers the look at the last show, the Romania.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I prefer the look at the Spain show or I just like the Spain show. I like the way it's run. I like the venue. Emilio, who runs the show, is very, very good. And obviously it was my best placing as well.
Yeah.
So for me, that's probably my preferred one, just purely because, it was my best placing of all the shows. But I don't think there was a great deal of difference between each show in terms of condition, fullness. I think all the looks were sort of very similar. So I just prefer the Spain show because it was my best placing, I guess.
Yeah, for me, like I said, I felt you nailed it every single time. I mean, that's great that you can't even decide, because sometimes people say, "Oh, this one because I peaked. The other 2 I didn't." It's like you remind me of Theo, where every single show you're bringing it. Every single time you're nailing it. So it's hard to decide, like I said, between one show and the other.
Yeah, I mean, I'm in quite a good position where normally, once I get to about 4 weeks out, 6 weeks out, we have to scale back on things.
Oh wow.
We have to cut back on cardio, increase food. So we also, my body's we're also giving my body a little bit more time to rest.
Yeah.
Because you're scaling intensity, you're scaling back on it. So the body isn't tired. A lot of people have to push right up to show day. Whereas normally if I get 4 or 5 weeks out, I'm ready. So we can scale back, and it gives my body almost sort of like a fresher look, which I think is one of the reasons why we were able to maintain it for 3 weeks, because my body wasn't tired. Yeah.
Good. Well, I think I'm going to be interested to see you, because I obviously don't know, because you're going to keep progressing now. You might keep getting bigger and thicker. And so, what have you looked at of your physique, say, over last year? You've gone out to Dubai. How exactly are you wanting to improve your physique? Is it just about putting on more kind of size because you can bring condition, you've got good symmetry?
Obviously there are specific areas as well. Although, like you said, I've not really got a glaring weak point, but after getting some feedback from the judges, I've got a huge amount of sort of thickness in my lower back, but I could do with a little bit more width in my upper lats, just to make my biceps stand out a bit more. So that's one of the areas I've sort of focused on a little bit. Arms, you can never have big enough arms. And although they're not sort of massively out of proportion, I just feel in a couple of shots they need, like my rear double bicep, I need a little bit more peak and a little bit more drop in the tricep. So arms, upper back width, because my rear double, although I've got great detail and thickness there, I'm not the guy in the rear double. So that's an area that we're really sort of focusing on as well. And then just overall sort of just, overall inches here and there,
So do you look at, say, physiques of look, you have pictures of Nick Walker in a real bicep and think, that's what I'm aiming for, because you have a similar physique? Is it or do you look at the side chest of Vlad and say, that's what I want? Yeah,
Nick is my favourite open pro. One, I love his work ethic, and 2, I love his physique. But, I'm more likely to compare myself to Nick's physique than I am to Samson's physique.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at, yeah.
Because we're both 5'7".
Yeah.
We're both genetically gifted with, a 27-inch waist. So I see more of myself in Nick than I do in Samson. So I veer towards looking at Nick's rear double bicep and Nick's hand drop on his side chest, and that's what I sort of aspire to, because he's a physique sort of more similar to mine than anybody else in the pro league.
I mean, if I was to describe you, I'd say if you come on stage with 20 pounds more than you did in Romania, I mean, to me, that's a squint and thinking it's Nick Walker job. It is. No, it is. That is very... Yeah, no, I mean, because like I said, you're the similar height, very kind of similar style of physique. You're freaky and thick and detailed, and you're not lacking condition. I think that's the great thing really about you is we see plenty of big guys with lots of muscle, but Haroldus, there was a guy that really I thought would have gone on to be a 212 Olympia champion. I mean, I thought that guy was just going to go all the way, and then he just disappeared. But for me, he just lacked that kind of your level detail, and he would have gone to he would have been battling out with Flex Lewis, I thought.
Oh yeah. Like genetically, the muscle he carried, shape and structure. But like you said, he won the British Championships a couple of times, but even though he wasn't the most conditioned guy on stage. Oh,
he was incredible, mate. I mean, I raved about that guy. I said actually in my MD column at that time, I said, I put a readable bicep. I said, is this the best readable bicep in bodybuilding today? And that was around the time of Phil Heath. I mean, that's quite a compliment. It was like, this guy is just, such a shame, really. I wonder if he's still... I just think he just got sick of it. I don't know why. It's just a shame. These guys with these huge potentials, you see these guys pop up and then they just like I thought you did. I thought you were done, mate. And I was like, wow, what has happened to this guy? He's third at the British and 23 years old. And that's when the lineups were absolutely crazy. You had the best conditioning in the top 6 and then you just disappeared. I mean, obviously we know why, but and you're back now. So, but anyway,
the depths of the lineups back in there in the sort of heavyweights and super heavyweights and the amateurs, crazy. was incredible, absolutely incredible. But yeah, I didn't want to be that guy. I know a lot of people that have sort of been there or just about and then just disappeared. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be that guy. You know what I mean? Because I just regret it for the rest of my life.
I tell you what, there was one guy. Literally, I was trying to remember his name. His name was Matthew. He was a tall black guy. He was in that one that you did, the 2011, and he won the intermediates, and then they put him up in the overall. Do you remember? Yeah. He was like 6'2", very similar. He was literally like a smaller Andrew Jacked. But I thought, and they were like, this guy. There was people saying like this guy looks like a Flex Wheeler, but taller. And his name was Matthew something. He was from Muscleworks, and he was absolutely incredible. And then he disappeared. And I think he went PCA but I've never really there was a guy that didn't fulfill his potential. It could have been, like a top 6 Olympia guy. And it's funny, it's just they just fall by the wayside, for whatever reason.
Andrew Jack trains at Binos with us as well. He trains over here. Yeah. So he trains here. He got back because obviously he was out in America for 5 weeks, but he arrived back last week, so he trains here as well.
I've heard he's one of these guys that even before he competed as a pro, Billy Garner was saying to me, and I was like, I don't really see what the fuss is all about. And then Billy says, no, this is one of these guys you have to see in the flesh. He says, when you see him in the flesh, you will get it. And then I did see him on stage at the Olympia, and even though he wasn't in the best condition, I was like, yeah, now I get it. This photos don't do that guy justice.
No, he's true. Yeah, you see him even in the gym when you see him. If he's rocking a vest or anything like that, he's just incredible. He's just
So quickly, Lewis, before I let you go, mate, any thank yous, any sponsors, any general thank yous?
The biggest thank you has to be to my partner, because we got together sort of 7 years ago. Yeah. And she was like, right, what do you want to achieve? And I said, I want to be. She was like, right, well, if you want to do it, let's do it. She's been the biggest support for me out of anyone. And she is the biggest reason as to why I've come back and why I've turned professional and why I have continued to progress. So she is the biggest thank you. A big thank you, obviously, to my best friend, who is also my coach, obviously, Martin. We were training partners when I'm back in the UK. Yeah. He's been with me from the amateur days through to the pro league as well. But without those people, I wouldn't be where I am today, not without a shadow of a doubt.
Brilliant. All right then, mate. Well, I'm going to let you go. And so what would you say would be the first couple of shows you're definitely considering this year?
I am considering 2 American ones in August.
Brilliant.
Yeah, so it gives me another 2 months to really sort of push now. And then it would be looking at it's Texas and Tampa. That's the 2, isn't it?
Nice. So, good choice.
Big shows. You've got Hunter already confirmed, and I think Blessing confirmed. But that's where you want to be. You want to be in America, up against these big names. And give them a battle. So those are the 2 first ones, and then if all goes well, I will look at a couple sort of in Europe, sort of September time. Which ones I'm not 100% decided on. But I do definitely want to be stateside first because I've not had the chance to do that yet.
I always say to professionals like yourself, I'll say, like, if you're really wanting to test yourself and you really want to take this all the way, any sacrifice you're making by going to Dubai, and leaving your family behind, it's like, this is, if you're really serious, then chase the competition. Don't shy away from them. Don't go to a show because you've seen the lineup and you've heard that no big names are doing it. Freaking go and, because thing is, if you really nail it and you look good and everything translates to the stage and the judges are scanning it and then the first call out and they go, number 8, Lewis Breed, and then do you know what I mean? And then you're next to Blessing and you're next to Hunter and they're like, oh shit, he's taking Hunter on a few shots here. That's gonna serve you so well. Yeah, ultimately, there's a couple of shows last year. I think one of them was France or Italy, and there was like 7, 8, 9 competitors. Yeah. And I had people go, why didn't you do that one? Why didn't you do? Yeah. No. I don't want to be doing a show like that. You know what I mean? I want to be in a big lineup with the best names, being able to stand toe to toe. Not necessarily saying I'm going to beat them just yet, but just being able to stand toe to toe with what are the best in the world and go, bloody hell, he looks good next to this guy. You know what I mean? That's a win in itself, to be able to be competitive with those guys at the top. You'll get more people talking about you if you take out Hunter Labrada in a few good shots, clearly, than if you go and win a show where there's 7, 8 guys in it. There's more prestige and there's more respect that you'll gain and more attention that you'll gain as an athlete by doing that. So, I mean, that worked for that's what Samson did. That's exactly what Samson did. He went chasing the competition. He he wanted to get an invite to the Arnold Classic. He was, even though he'd won one pro show and he ended up getting 4th, came back the following year and bloody won it. So he wasn't afraid to test himself. And I think if you do that and you do really well, then straight away you've gone from there to there overnight. Yeah,
I agree, mate. Definitely.
Cool. All right, mate, I'm going to let you go, and thank you so much for coming, MD Globe Muscle. Apologise for leaving it so long, but I think you're going to do well this year. Like I said, I was really impressed with what you brought last year. I saw you in the flesh, and I was like, yeah, this guy's thick as a brick. He's going to do... and like I said, it's just nice to see. I'm glad that you came back, and I'm glad that you kind of you're fulfilling that potential, and you're still young enough to really make an impact. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've still got... In 10 years, you're only going to be 45 and you'll have probably, won quite a few pro shows and, and who knows how far you could go. You could be another Samson. Maybe you could go further. Do you know what I mean? So it's good that you're, I'm glad you came back and I'm glad you're pushing and you're doing what you feel you need to do to fulfill your potential.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Enough said. All right then, mate. Thank you so much. And I'll speak to you very soon.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, thanks, Lewis. Bye-bye, mate. Okay, guys, it is Hot News segment for Season 5, Episode 24 of MD Globe Muscle. And, it's been an interesting week in bodybuilding. No shows, of course, because we're kind of in that. I just said that to Lauren. I said we're kind of in that in-between where it's kind of a little bit too late to really keep talking about the Arnold Classic. It's kind of been done to death now, and it's kind of almost too early to start talking about the next load of shows that are coming because normally, I mean, last year we had the Boston Pro that was that 1 week after or 2 weeks after? Was it one? I think it was 1 week because I remember because Samson flew home on the Tuesday and then flew back on the Friday just to save himself. I don't know why he did that, but he did give his reason. I think it's something to do with Marlena's work. And also, congratulations to Samson and Marlena getting married. Was that last week or the week before?
Last weekend.
Well, yeah, it was last weekend. Yeah, so yay! We did actually, we did congratulate them. So, but we love Samson and Marlena, so I'm sure they're very, very happy. Said it was an amazing day, and nice pictures of them with Subaru. That's a car, isn't it? Okay, no, this is the dog. Cerberus, the god of something, a two-headed dog. You ever heard of that?
Three-headed dog.
Oh, three-headed.
I don't know.
It's making shit up now. We'll come to my little to-do with Milos, but there is a happy ending, that came from it. So I'll talk about that at the end of Hot News. So you have to watch everything now. So right, okay, then we're going to go to first in the guest lineup. We had the British pro Lewis Breed. Like I said in the interview, I remember this guy from the 2011 British Finals. He was third in the heavyweights behind Haroldis Dombrovskis. I forgot who was the runner-up. Selwyn Al-Jaff. And he was third, and he was only 23 years old. And I will by the time you watch this, you will have seen the interview and the photo I took. It's like a one hand on hip, most muscular. And it's the photo I took myself for it. I was actually covering it for MD, that British finals. And it's the one that he uses on all of, he's used on his Instagram. We'll see if we can find it because we're on Lewis's Instagram here. I'll scroll down, but I will edit it into the interview, so you will have already seen it. But it's a fantastic shot. And, you know, if you can imagine at the time when I saw that, and I was like, wow, this guy's 23 years old, the muscle maturity. I mean, he was literally like a Nick Walker, you know, that level of thickness then. And he's only, you know, like I said, 7 years away from the stage, came back in 2018, just missed out on his pro card 2 or 3 times, came back, and then obviously COVID, got it in 2020. And like we saw him at the Romania, clicked yourself. Oh. We saw him in Romania. We saw him at the, what's the other show? I've completely forgotten. Spain? No, the other one. Spain,
Prague.
Romania, Prague. Yeah, so we saw him in Prague. So he was top 10 in all of those shows. I think he was around like sort of 8th, 9th in both those shows. Kind of like the top end of the second call out, but very, very impressive. He's 35 years old now. He's flown out to Dubai. Sorry, I always get those two mixed up. And training at that, what's the name of that gym? Bynus gym, yeah, which everyone trains at. The one with the Captain America plate, 20 kilo plates. You know, like the shield, Captain America. You know, with the stars. You wouldn't nod at me. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, the big shield.
Yeah. So yeah, but that's all. That's the plates. So anyway, I didn't realize until I messaged him to come on Global Muscle that that's where he's been the last 2 months. He reckons he's put about 25 pounds of muscle on, which completely blows my mind. And so it looks like he's going to make a bit of an impact this year, I believe. And let's go have a look at some pictures, and you'll see what I mean about the whole Nick Walker reference, because he's 5'7". I think that's the height that Nick Walker is, give or take an inch.
I think roundabout, yeah.
Yeah, well, you should know everything. You're a big Nick Walker fan, aren't you? You love Nick Walker.
You go, Nick Walker.
You want to marry Nick Walker. But look at, see what I mean? Like this is him now. Wow. Weekly checking, things are moving, more work to be done. So did he say he's like 278 here?
275?
Well, he said I'm sure he said 278, which, I mean, as you can see, he's not in bad condition. I mean, that's not fat off-season 278. That's a pretty lean. I mean, that would be respectable guest posing, wouldn't it? You wouldn't be like disgusted if you saw him guest pose in that condition. But I mean, 5'7" and basically 20 stone. You know, I also said in my MD column, I said this month, I wrote it day before yesterday. I said, by the way, we use stones and pounds in the UK, so I will use the metric. Is it metric? Pounds? Kilos?
Kilograms.
Yeah, Americans use kilos, don't they? No, they use pounds. So they will understand what 278 means. But so like I said, this guy is missing absolutely nothing, and I think he is one guy to watch out for. And I'm glad that he came back to bodybuilding, because like I said, when I saw him when he was 23 years old, I mean, you know, he was one of the guys I was eyeing for the pro card for the next year or two. So that was in 2011. 2012, that was ended up being won by Anth Bales. 2013, the overall was won by Ricardo. Then I saw a guy in the audience called Nathan Diasha. I put a picture that I took, a photograph, on the MD forum back in 2013, and I said the caption was, this guy will probably get the pro card next year. He did in 2014 at 99 kilos, and then obviously, you know, Nathan Diasha, 9 pro wins, top 10 Olympia, 7th in Olympia in 2017. 2017, is that right? 2017, because he was 12th, 7th, 8th. Yeah, so he was 7th in 2017. I thought he should have beat Sean Roden actually that year. But what was my point? Yeah, so anyway, but Lewis Breed was one of the guys that I really did feel was going to turn pro and like be another Flex Lewis. He was just going to storm. But obviously, you know, he ended up having a load of kids and new relationship, and kind of took him away from the bodybuilding scene for a few years. And here we are now. So, and he's doing really, really well. We saw him in Spain when he made his pro debut. And he's out doing what Brandon Curry did, you know, leaving his family, and he's out in Dubai focusing hard on his bodybuilding, and he's a freaking tank, this guy. And have you noticed as well in his bio, look, hang on, look, Lewis the Brick Breed. This was because I kept calling him thick as a brick on the live stream, which you and I did in Romania, Prague and Spain. And I saw some of his comments on his Instagram around that time, and he said, thick as a brick, I like that. So he's used the brick, basically, Like and Vlad as well, Vlad the Impaler. I gave him that nickname.
You're very good at giving good nicknames. I just also want to add and point out, like with because like with Lewis, there is no. I personally think there's no right or wrong way to do bodybuilding. So it's a real, I think it's awesome that he's come back.
What
And
do you mean?
he's done things differently, and I think sometimes that can work.
Yeah,
So
but
it's
like I
really
said in the
interesting.
interview, he's only 35, so he's still got more than enough time, and he's made his pro debut now in 2021. He was top 10 in that, and he got a load of good call. I think he said he was 9th place in the Spain show. Because I remember, I was like, wow, Lewis Breed, he's in first call out. He was getting lots of call outs with the top names. That was the one Nathan Diasha won. Do you remember? We went on stage. That was the first Spain show we went to.
With Ruli.
Ruli was Ruli in that
They
one?
were competing next to each other. They were together.
Right, okay, yeah, so he was in good company, he was in a good lineup, and that was his pro debut. Then he came back last year and he did, we saw him we didn't go to the NPC European, but we were at the Prague show, the EVLS, and we were at Romania, because obviously we're doing the live stream, and he was very, very impressive. But like I said, he's kind of like top of the second call out. He's getting good placings, top 10s, and he's really improving. So please keep an eye out for this guy this year. He said he's looking to do the Texas and the Tampa Pro. But I think you're going to see a really dramatically improved Lewis Breed this year. Very, very freaky. Very, as you can see, free. Who the hell was doing the hack squats? Is that no? Hang on, that's not hack squats, a leg press. Look, I thought it was a hack squat. It's actually a very, very steep incline leg. Bloody hell, that looks a steep incline leg press.
No, it's just the mirror.
Oh, no, hang on a minute. They're taking the photo on an angle. No, they're taking the photo on an angle. So it makes it look like the leg press is like 80 degrees, 70 degrees. But it's not. Look, if you turn that, do you see what I mean?
I kind of see it, but I don't.
Okay, you don't know. Basically, she took the photo on an angle. Look at the yellow bottom of the mirror. Now, if you turn that straight, you'll see that the leg press is actually set at 45 degrees, not 70 degrees.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. Okay,
Yes.
I see,
Light bulb moment. Yep. Eureka.
No, it's so.
My God, she's got it.
Oh.
My fair lady. So anyway, let's have a look at a few more pictures. Not so much interested in the training stuff. Here he was this was Prague. So one of the most important things is to have a goal, an aim, a dream, but with the determination, dedication, and drive to obtain it. So as you can see, like I said, he's got, he's not missing anything. He's just going to be a very, definitely a work in progress. But I think if he can retain those 20 pounds, on a 5'7" physique, then you're heading up towards Nick Walker territory, in terms of dense. Yeah, he's not quite that level yet, but I mean, he actually looks small here compared to how he looks when he's ripped.
He's really good condition though, even though he's not technically competing right now. This is a nice look to keep.
But Sean Ray was like 5'7", competing at like 205. I mean, he's competing at probably like 240, 250. He's got a lot of thickness, a lot of density, He's
building bricks.
Yeah. Oh, it's gone black and white. Look.
Oh,
Colour?
nice.
Black and white.
I love black and white.
You like that photo of you in the black and white? Really nice picture. Really nice picture. The photo shoot you did yesterday, really, really nice. So let's have a look at more what he looks like contest. This was the 24 hours. See, this is what I mean. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This is 24 hours before the Prague. This is probably the same hotel we were in.
Okay.
That was a lovely hotel. I went in Prague. The
Loved
Hilton.
it.
Oh
Loved
my
it.
God.
Oh my gosh.
That's the best Hilton I've ever stayed at in my life. Even better than the one in Columbus, Ohio, where Arnold Schwarzenegger has the 2 top floors completely to himself. You have to have a card to get even onto the top floors, so it's not like anyone can just wander on. So when you get in the lift with someone and they tap the card, they're part of Arnold's crew, which is always quite cool. So I always have a little sneaky glance when they're in the lift with me. But as you can see, what has he got, Lauren, that we like to see?
Stripy shoulders.
Stripy shoulders, back of the net. So as you can see, good conditioning, good density. He's not filling his shoulders full of shit, which we don't like to see, guys, because I think if Hadi had done that again last year, he wouldn't have won the Olympia. They would have given it to Derek. So this is why it's important for people like ourselves in the media. When it happens, we're not haters. We're pointing this out so these guys can be better. So that is, I can't stress that enough, So when we're giving critique, we're doing it because we want those guys to come back the next year, either with a certain part of their physique, whether it be their detail or a certain body part or their symmetry or whatever improved, ways that they can improve. We're trying to give them an opportunity to be better so they can do better. Doesn't make us haters. So guys, it's the ironic thing is the absolute opposite of actually what hate is. We're actually trying to help. We're trying to love these guys.
Yeah, because we do love it.
Yeah, you put switch. You got to switch. Come on.
Sorry,
I thought women were good at multitasking. Come on.
I suck at switching, but yes, we love it. So
you suck at multitasking. Right. So like I said, this is. I mean, you can just see with this, with more improvements. Thing is, it's a good spot to be in when you don't have any missing body parts. The details there, the densities there, the qualities there. So here he was in Prague. There's
nice.
Yeah, exactly. See, even he's thick, but he's got a nice shape as well. Everything fits. There's no. I mean, can you see any weaknesses there?
No, he looked fantastic. I wouldn't have been upset if he had won it. To be honest with you.
Won it?
Oh,
Prague.
I can't remember what happened.
Oh, come on! Yeah, bloody
Chryso.
You had Chryso and guys like that. No, he was. I think he was 8th in this, 8th or 9th.
Well, I thought he looked fantastic.
He did look good. No, but like I said, with these are the guys to keep an eye out on. And if he's taken the sacrifice to go out to somewhere like Dubai, leave his kids behind, who's to say he couldn't do what Brandon Curry did in terms of drastic improvements? And thing is, drastic improvements, that's what moves you up the game. It's a game of improvement. It's a game of doing what you need to do. And if he's made some big leaps and big strides, I don't be surprised to see this guy do very, very well at Texas and Tampa. And I felt like it was about time we gave him some publicity because, like I said, he's really had no one. I mean, if you're watching this, you probably don't even know who this guy is if you're a regular watcher of Remedy Glove Muscle. Pavel Baran as well. I hope to see him back this year with a bit of a thicker back.
I really like Pavel's physique in Prague. It's nice. I was a bit disappointed. I loved the fact that his mom was there. By the way, happy Mother's Day, everyone. But no, I thought Pavel was awesome and what a great show.
I don't know who this guy is. Is that Adolf Burkhardt? Looks like him because I recognize the bloated midsection.
Oh.
I do. I'm not sure who this guy is. But like I said, we were there doing the live stream commentary. But see, look, he's really chunky, isn't he? Real thick as a brick. Chunky. But I mean, if he's put on 20 pounds and he's only been out there 8 weeks, and I wished I didn't ask him how much longer he's staying out there.
Well, he says he's got another 2 months to push.
Oh, wow. So, but does that mean 2 months out in Dubai with that rate of improvement? I didn't pick up on that.
Well, it doesn't look like he's leaving anytime soon.
Okay. Well, like I said, watch this space. I mean, look what Patrick Johnson did by going out to Q8 because he's a roommate with Brandon Curry. Mm-hmm. And you saw what he did last year. 14th Olympia. He won the France.
Did he come second at the UK?
Was it France? He beat
Arnold's?
Mark Hector. Yes, he came second at the Arnold UK. Then he won the France show. Then he did very, very well at the Olympia. Got 14th Olympia, and that was a tough Olympia. And obviously by coming 14th, he beat some really, really good bodybuilders. And So anyway, really, really excited to see what Lewis is going to bring this year. There's him and his lady. So this was when I imagine this when she came out to surprise visit him. So, but isn't it? See,
that's 10 weeks ago.
Oh, 10 weeks ago. Okay. Birthday girl. Oh no, that doesn't look like Dubai. That doesn't look.
Plymouth.
Yes, Plymouth and Dubai. We get them mixed up all the time. So so let me have a look at. That's a nice shot. That really shows he's good, isn't he?
Yeah, that's
really
nice.
good.
That's a good one.
I mean, imagine another 20 pounds of muscle on top of that.
Just Lewis tan the face a bit, and then it's all.
I think he was probably about to tan the face.
Yeah,
in fact, that's something bloody Chryso could take note of because remember he turned up to the show 2 hours before on stage, white as a sheet. Yeah. Yeah, you can't be doing that this year, mate. I'm also very interested to see what Chryso, because I feel like people have stopped talking about Chryso because of the Andrew Jack and Samson and Nick Walker and Rami at the Clarida. Obviously what was a very exciting Arnold Classic.
Well, unfortunately, we've just started the show season. So if you're not talked about at this moment in time, it's because actually you haven't had a chance to either be on the Arnolds or you're going to be competing. So we're going to see you later on.
To the mic, there. You keep moving away from the mic.
Oh, they can hear me.
Flapping your arms.
But we will see you all at some point during this year, and I'm sure you guys will do great.
6 kids.
That's a lot of babies.
That's a lot of kids. I mean, even to be able to get to the gym with 6 kids. I mean, you got 6 kids. That's incredible. I mean, you have to be so organized I can't imagine what that's like, having that level of responsibility. So that's cool. His face.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good shot. He looks like he's really thickened his chest up as well now. But like I said, Lewis. I'm really, really excited to see what you're going to be bringing this year, mate. And apologies, for taking so long to get on MD Globe Muscle. But we do try to get round to everyone. And also, last week's episode, the all-female episode was very well received. I think people really appreciate the fact that and it's really kind of a show that really highlights the men, really. But it's nice to see that the regular viewers of MD Globe Muscle still watch, given that, and we had women's physique and fitness with Shelley and Amandine Colley, great guests. And I think Amandine's going to do absolutely fantastic at the New York Pro. And also, 5th at the Olympia and 3rd in the Arnold Classic for Shelley. So that's incredible. She is literally, top 5 in the world now. So it's, I think it's super important to give publicity to these athletes. They deserve it. In all categories, all divisions, we're not just about whoever's flavor of the week and who's doing well in contest that week. I like to reach out to all levels. What's my
flavor of the week?
Flavor of the week, yeah. So flavor with an A, not O-U-R. And not O-R like in America. That really annoys me when they... It really annoys me when I put colour or flavour in my column and it gets edited. They take the U out because obviously American spelling.
Yeah, I know.
So I really have to bite my tongue when that happens. I'm like, guys, it's not a typo. I need to spell it right. Because a lot of my sayings and the way I write my column in this... Oops, I can't do it. It's weird, reversed. It's they leave that the editors at MD said they like to leave all that in because it's you can always hear my voice when you're reading it then, do you know what I mean, which is obviously an added bonus. So we laughing at
it's just,
are you thinking about a joke I told
no
you
it's just that I can okay if
right.
you guys need to pick up a copy of MD, read an article of Giles's, and then you'll see what he means.
Yes,
because he does sound very much like himself inside the actual article, with all of the jokes, and then you will see. Get
yourself, and you can read the column by Meatball Head, because that's why I got called in the comments on the Power Hour on the YouTube live comments. And I tried to delete them, but it wouldn't let me. It kept saying error. So I thought, okay, I'm really going to have to charm this guy now. I'm going to have to play ball with this guy because I can't delete anything. And Jen was away. She was away. She was doing something. And because normally she's in the YouTube live comments. Because obviously Power Hour and MD Globe Muscle, we do the YouTube live. And I interact when, it's nice to sort of talk to the viewers and, get feedback and answer questions, if they ask anything about the guests or anything like that. And this guy came on. He says, "Who is this guy?" He says, he's obviously a new guy because I've been around for bloody donkey's years, 28 years. And he said, "Who is this Meatball Head?" He said, "Who is this perv?" He said, "Who is this perv interviewing the women?" I was like, well, I damned if I do and damned if I don't. If I don't interview the women, we get called, we're not being inclusive and sexist and stuff. And then we reach out to the females and I get called a freaking perv.
I know, that's a first.
I've never been. Well, that is a first. I've never been called that. But Meatball Head, that was definitely a new one on me. And that was the same day I had the rather interesting video conversation with Milos, but I'll come to that in a bit because there is a story there, a very positive story as well. So anyway, fantastic. Go back to Lewis Breed. I hope you enjoyed the interview. I thought it was brilliant. I was really happy with it, and we wish him all the best for his return to the stage in 2023. So, of course, we're going to go to Good Vito, one of the, probably along with Crizzo and Andrew Jack, one of the biggest talking points of the year last year, 2022. But he is now pro. Also, if you check out in this issue, you took the thing off. That's clever. Yeah, so this is the issue. This is the January 2023, Sean Clarida on the cover. And here is the article I wrote on, we call him Good Vito. Vitali, it's not hard to say, is it really? But, yeah, so that's the interview I wrote. Well, it's not an interview, actually. It's an article. And I had Milos and Miguel and Ron Harris contributing. And it's basically about this. How old is he now? 20. God, he's 25. 25. Yeah, he's 25 years old, got a pro card now from the Muscle Contest Brazil. We actually haven't interviewed him yet because normally I do hot news after I've done the interviews, but it's just because I want to go to the gym after this. And I want to come back, and then I'm interviewing Vitali with his translator, Philippe Falop. So, sorry, it's a bad joke. Flip-flop?
I get it.
Okay.
I get it.
Yeah, okay.
I don't want to laugh.
So I got to stop fiddling with the mic. Anyway, so yeah, I mean, a good Vito, we'll call him good Vito. One of the biggest talking points of last year, you know, and this was like Chris, but even before he got his pro card, you know, everyone was raving about this guy, about how he's the next big thing. Well, and that's literally what the article is called. So the next big thing. And yeah, people just look at the size of his arms. My God. Wow. Oh, I thought she had like stuff on her legs, but it's the pattern from what she's wearing. I thought she had like cream or talc on her butt legs there.
I think she's...
Look at the size of his arms. My God. And he's known for his legs as well. So, you know, for my eyes to be drawn to his arms first in that picture is impressive. So, yeah, there's a lot of talk around this guy. A lot of people raving about him. I do like this guy's physique. I mean, look at this. I mean, 25 years old. Look at that. And look at the quads. I mean, this guy has star potential written all over him. He's now pro, so I'm going to be very interested to find out what his next plans are contest-wise. Like I said, by the time you watch this, you'll have watched the interview and he'll have told us. But yeah, there's a lot of very high expectations, like it was with Crizzo last year. But I feel like Crizzo did deliver last year. Mm-hmm. I mean, he got his pro card at the Amateur Olympia. Then he won Prague. You know, even though he did sort his tan out for the night show. You know, guys, don't make that. Crizzo, Michael, don't make that same mistake twice. You know, you're a pro now, mate. So you can't allow yourself to slip up on silly things like tanning when you just have to put base coats on and prepare. You know what to do. I'm sure
the night before.
Then at least the night before, maybe even the day before. I mean,
he's very white.
2 days. I mean, guys like Dennis Wolf, who are known for that, like Dennis Wolf, James Hollins said, for that really, really white skin.
Yeah.
You've got to start base coating at least 2 days before. You can't just show up backstage 2 hours before and then just expect the tan just to go on beautifully. You can't leave it to chance like that. So,
sorry, just also like tip. Like, just make sure that if you are like checking your... Oh, sorry.
Yep.
If you are just checking your skin color to the tan, do test it out even just a week before if you must. And just make sure that you scrub everything. I mean, if you're a pro athlete, you will know about this. But I used to
exfoliate every single day. I used to shave and exfoliate my skin every single day. And I tell you what, when you do that, the tan is basically going on... You know, because you get rid of all the dead skin. Otherwise, you're just putting tan on top of that. And that's why a lot of guys get really messy, streaky tans.
Or patchy tans.
Because the skin's not clean. I remember tanning a guy up in Germany and we were sharing a room. It was a Masters guy because I was in the heavyweights. And he was in the Masters. And he hadn't exfoliated skin. And all the skin was coming off on my hand. And his tan looked terrible. And I did a good job tanning him up. Mine, because I was scrubbing it almost till it was red, till it was sore. You know, literally exfoliating every single day for weeks beforehand. And the tan just sat beautifully. And it just... And also, it highlights your condition as well.
Oh, and also moisturize with a nice...
absolutely moisturize. Because I tell you what, do the exfoliating when you're in condition, a few weeks before a show. Shave, exfoliate... Put moisturizer on.
E25.
And when you've come out of the shower, then do some posing in the mirror. Because I tell you what, you look like you've gained 3 weeks of condition. It's incredible. And it's so simple. And at the end of the day, if you know, you're dieting your ass off and you're training hard, you want to make sure that you look as lean as possible. And the thing is, it's not, you know, you put so much work into all the other elements. Why would you not skin prepare? So skin preparation is something I think maybe that needs to be, you know, because why does some guys go to shows and they all got the same people, the same tanning companies tanning them. And why does some walk on stage with a great tan and others, they got it and their tan looks awful and it costs them several placings? Why is that? It's because of things like skin preparation.
I agree.
So guys, please pay attention. Anyway, back to good Vito, who's I love his front double bicep. Look at that. I mean, it's real. When he did it, let me see if I can find the video from the Brazil contest where he turned pro. Because that frontal bicep, it really pops. It really pops. Where is it? Hang on, have we got anything? Let's have a look. Is that video? No, it's not video. Here we are. Have a look at this. This was him in the overall. It's the overall of the weight class. Hang on, where is this? I think this. There you are. Look at the frontal bicep. Yeah. See, look at the way the lats come out and the way. I mean, he's got big legs, sweeping quads, and also he's not just got big legs, but they're really cut as well. They're nicely separated. He's got wicked calves, great detail in the quads. And I love the way that back just pops out because that frontal bicep, that's the first pose and everything just kind of splinters and kind of pops and it's so impressive. I feel like he could do with a bit more detail, like Derek Lunsford in the chest and the shoulders.
Yeah.
But thing is, that will come with development.
And
so
just
another
lower back as well for me.
Yeah.
Just gonna keep it tighter.
Yeah. I mean, this is him as an amateur, you know, not even as a pro yet. So, I mean, just time spent in the gym is basically what will rectify that. He's impressive, isn't he?
That's a big leg.
And I tell you what, this guy in the red was really good as well. He didn't blow this guy off the stage by any means, you know? I mean, look at the back. I like these lines in the traps. I like that.
The man in red on the very left, he's got beautiful condition.
This one?
No,
yeah. This guy.
He's nice too, but the one on the left, he's got lovely condition.
It's good to see really good, strong lineups as well in all these contests in the bodybuilding, you know, because you always see Classic, and Classic's exploding now. It has been for the last 4 or 5 years. You know, oh no, he should have done that. He pointed to the guy. Oh no, don't do that. Yeah. Oh my God. The thing is, this guy ain't got bad legs either.
They've all got really good legs.
But then again, I mean, Vito, mate, you know, you don't need to point the fact, at the end of the day, just pose your legs. You don't need to point to the fact your legs are twice the size of everybody else's. Because thing is, the judges are going to be looking. So let's have a look, see what else we've got up here. So this, like I said, this was him when he turned pro. It's all the waiting around. Is that an old picture? Looks like an old picture. Is that one?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, as you can see, there's a reason why this guy is so hyped, because at 25 years old, he's already this good. A lot of people have, like I said with Crizzo last year, you know, and Crizzo did live up to the hype. He won his pro card, as I said before. He won his first pro show and his pro debut at the Prague show that we were at. And he was impressive. The night show, he looked fantastic. And 12th place in the Olympia, in one of the deepest Olympias ever. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Vitaly in the next couple of years. He likes his frontal biceps, doesn't he? Oh, it's his legs, isn't it? It's the freaking legs and his arms. My God. These Russians, man, they're awesome. Who's this Bruno? Is this the Bruno guy? Yes, this is Bruno. Yeah, he's another monster as well. Look at his shoulders.
Yes, these are very large people.
Yes, my God, you won't want to spill their protein drink, would you? My God, look at the thickness of these guys. I mean, I tell you what, you can see why Brazil is absolutely exploding, because the guys are exploding, or nearabouts. But it's great to see bodybuilding so well supported in Brazil as well. It's and the thing is, I like his shape. He's got a lot of size, but he's got really nice shape as well. Look at this, look at that. I like the way he puts his elbows forward when he does his frontal bicep. It really makes his lats pop. Nice taper. He's got a pretty small waist. Yeah, he just needs a bit, like I said, he just needs a bit more going on in the chest and shoulders. Give him a bit more pop and a bit more explosion. What are you doing?
Just reminding you.
What are you doing? Oh, okay. Right, okay. Right, okay. Anyway, yeah. So very, very excited to see what he's going to be bringing next. And also, it'd be interesting to see how he goes up against Crizzo. Because it'd be nice to see them both do a same show. Because like last year, these were the two amateur names that really everyone was kind of talking about. And it wasn't kind of a foregone conclusion they were going to get their pro cards, but, you know, let's face it, it kind of wasn't it really? You know, anyway. Yeah. So, right, okay, going to move on quickly to Bodybuilders Without Borders, as I do every single week. I love Daniel L. I think he does a fantastic job. He's kind of my go-to guy. He's my go-to guy for a lot of the news. Regan Grimes, interesting to see what he does next, because I was talking to Milos the other day and he was saying that it's just going well with Regan. He's training him every day and kicking his ass. And, you know, have you seen Milos?
I've seen him train Regan and it looks painful.
He destroys them, you know, and obviously that's what gets results, you know. So you train like a fanny, will not get anywhere in bodybuilding. So I'm not saying that Regan was trained like a fanny before, because he was a very good bodybuilder before Milos came along. But, you know, Milos just pushes these guys beyond their limits. And that's what gets results. And that's what gets these guys out of their comfort zones and makes them fulfill their potential. So let's have a quick look. There was a couple of things I wanted to see. Obviously, Kerith Bajo keeps tagging me into a lot of progress pictures and videos, because he's coming in for the New York Pro. He wants to win that. He's been third place here before, and he said there's a lot of like local pride for the NY. Yeah, so he's from Connecticut, isn't it? Which is outside of New York.
Beautiful legs.
Yeah, he's fun.
Oh, there's different muscles.
It's different muscles.
My God.
He's got the same muscles as everybody else. They're just a bit bigger.
No, but look how they're coming out.
Coming out. Well, that's shadows as well.
No, not the shadows. The muscles.
Oh, the muscles.
On his
Yeah.
legs.
Yeah. Well, he's bloody. I mean, he was 7th place at the Olympia. And if he'd have looked like he did at the night show, the finals like he did at the pre-judging, who knows, maybe he could have been 1 or 2 spots higher. But this guy is like, he's the 7th, he's ranked number 7 in the 212s in the world, and really kind of odds-on favourite to win the New York Pro in, how many weeks is it now? 9 weeks out. So, that's obviously, that's getting closer and closer. So what else we've got? Sorry, Lauren's just changing. Oh, I'm a bit dark, aren't I? Yeah, just lighten me up, dear. Hang on, ready? Light again, and again, and again. More light, not too much shine on my forehead. Not too much shine on my big meatball head, please, Lauren. So Darren Farrell as well, the classic guy. Is he still classic? He's looking bloody big to me. Looking big to me. He's looking, I tell you what, he's made some big improvements there from the Olympia. Darren Farrell won I forget what pro show he won last year. But I think he is doing the Muscle Contest Ireland. I think he's going to do it because there's a classic pro category, and maybe he's thinking, I think he's Irish. Why would he not want to do the Muscle Contest in Ireland, and get himself a qualification? And maybe obviously it must be nice to have your friends and family there as well, because Ireland's not that big, so I imagine he'll have a lot of support there. So nice to see him, an Irish athlete as well, supporting an Irish show, because Brian Bullman and Tamer Elguindi doing a fantastic job with the Muscle Contest over there. They've been running it since 2018, since the IFBB split. And we went last year. We've mentioned it once or twice. I didn't see much of the evening show, but there you go. One more thing was one other thing I wanted to see that I wanted to bring up. I can't remember what it was now.
Oh, that's been almost a whole year.
Yes. Yeah. Crazy, isn't it? Crazy. God. Still here.
Worst birthday ever. Here's
Hunter Labrada, guest posing with this little dude. That's cool. Hunter's cool. Yeah, he's big dude. So, of course, look at his abs. He's got good abs. Do you know what? He's actually got better abs than Hunter.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see what Hunter does this year, because obviously he was 4th place at the 2021 Olympia.
Ooh, most muscular.
He dropped to 7th place last year, and obviously wants to come back and do great at the Olympia. I think I'm sure he said he's doing Texas or Tampa or both. Hunter Labrada, so it'll be interesting to see him come back. That was pretty much all I wanted to see on Bodybuilders Without Borders. So we're going to very quickly, I know I keep mentioning it every single week, for the Masters Olympia, because I really want to see this show be a huge success. It's returning not just in the Open, but all divisions. No, actually that's incorrect, because Elena corrected me. She said it's in 10 divisions, and in bodybuilding in the NPC and Pro League. My nose getting blocked again. I'm starting to get funny nasal. Oh, the lighting's much better now. I can see me. There's no wheelchair, I believe. There's no wheelchair in the Masters Olympia. I have no idea why, but maybe this wasn't enough entries, maybe, or maybe people over 40. But and obviously there will be a amateur Olympia held, the day before. And so, guys, if you're looking to do a fantastically well-run amateur show, you want to get your pro card in Cluj, Romania, I can highly recommend the Wings of Strength team and the events that Jake Wood, Tim Gardner, Alina Popa, and all those amazing Wings of Strength organizers. I mean, the shows they put on are really, they're like the benchmark. They're like the benchmark for promotion. I mean, they're just fantastic promoters. So if you want to get a good experience and a great show too, and I've seen a video of the venue, absolutely incredible. Is it the BT Arena? Yeah, BT Arena in Cluj. And like I said, very cheap as well, cheap accommodation, very cheap restaurants, and it's a beautiful historic town. I went in 2019. And I said that last week. Yeah, so we'll keep you posted. There was a little update as well from Henderson Thorne, a guy I've not heard from since probably the 90s. This guy was a very good open pro. I don't know his age now, but I'm assuming by them reposting it, he's applying or wants to compete in the Masters Olympia. So it'll be nice to see someone like Henderson, one of the...
Good back.
Sorry?
Good back.
Yeah, he was awesome. I mean, Henderson Thorne was a really good bodybuilder in the 90s. One of the guys that would have benefited from the 212, I'm guessing. Like John Sherman, some of the Thierry Pastel, some of these guys from the 90s that if the 212 had been around, they'd been the OGs. they'd have been leading the way, you know. So yeah, that was pretty much all I wanted to see bring up on the Masters Olympia Instagram. I want to quickly bring up Milos because if you've watched the Power Hour on Monday, this is coming out Wednesday. Yes, if you saw the Power Hour the week before, me and Milos got into it over... I said that Andrew Jack I felt that he was leading on day one of the Arnold Classic. But then obviously I said, but Samson can improve enough to pull ahead on the Saturday, which he did. He won straight first both days. And Milos took exception to that. We got into it a little bit and we kind of, it kind of escalated a little bit on YouTube comments and Instagram comments. And then eventually we rang each other and we had a blazing row. But once we stopped screaming and shouting at each other and we kind of realized how silly it was and we're no longer a nice shade of Thanos purple he went. And he's got his vein that pops out in his head when he gets really angry. And I thought, well, maybe there's more to this because it either comes down to two things. It's either something I said or did that's really triggered him from a year ago, which is usually the case. When someone goes crazy at you, it's usually something you've said 2 years ago that they've kind of sat on, and it's really bubbled up, and then you've done something that's triggered them, and then they go crazy at you, and then they usually tell you, you 2 years ago you said this in a magazine or on a show, and it really pissed me off, and and you get to them. So I listened, and it basically actually it wasn't that. It actually came down to the fact that it was because I felt that Andrew Jack looked in better condition on the Friday, and the whole conditioning thing, Lauren, stop. The whole conditioning thing is he feels it's got out of hand, and he feels that it's too big a part of the criteria for bodybuilding.
I agree.
But it's hard for me because I'm a conditioning snob.
People are like literally, hang on. People are, sorry, I just...
Okay, say your piece, No, this is important.
Like, forget the fact that, people have passed away.
Yeah.
All right.
But it's not just...
It's not just that, but it's like every single category is now trying to take it to this whole new level. And it is, in my opinion, becoming dangerous, especially on some female side. But that's a whole other story for another time.
Okay.
See, this is Lauren ranting, but you guys, that's what I'm trying to say. Back to you, Giles.
Back to you, Giles. Yeah. So essentially, this is hard for me, like I said, because I like conditioning. For me, I feel it's the great equalizer. It was what enabled me to win a couple of the shows I did and do very well and beat bigger guys. I feel like it's the one thing you can do during a 12, 13 week prep. You can push harder than, say, other people will with better physiques, arguably, or bigger physiques. Milos is kind of like, he's at a point now, he's a coach, he's a retired bodybuilder, he's been there, done that, and he feels that it's time that we actually start bringing this up now more.
Yes.
Because Samson was not the most conditioned in the top 6 at the Arnold Classic, but he did win. He did win because he has the attributes like the symmetry, the conditioning, a good condition, but not like, say, as hard as Nick Walker or Ramy or Sean Clarida. And obviously beautiful flow, he's big as well. But obviously last year, I wrote actually in my MD column last year, Brandon Curry, when he won the Arnold Classic last year, Akeem Williams and Keon Pearson winning the Open in the 212 at Tampa,
Texas.
Tampa. No. It was Tampa. They both did Texas as well, where they both won their category, and but they weren't the most conditioned guys, yet they won. So I said, I wrote then actually in my column, I said, are we starting to see a change in the criteria where conditioning isn't, the main thing they're judging by?
And it's making the skin look terrible.
Mic down. And is that a good thing? So it looks like I feel like we need to explore this more, because do you know what? I'll be honest, if it does save lives and it really comes out that, because Milos told me a few stories that I didn't know of guys from the 90s, pros from the 90s, that had near misses. And I mean near misses from dying, from severe dehydration, either not drinking water or taking diuretics or pushing the conditioning so far that it was not just risky, but downright dangerous.
Yeah.
So we will be getting Milos on Global Muscle, maybe the Power Hour once again, because maybe this is something, maybe these are the conversations we need to start having. What's the matter?
Sorry, I gotta also just say, but like with this extreme conditioning,
which I like,
side of, yes, okay, it's fantastic, it looks impressive, and I'm not gonna say like,
but I don't want people to die.
I don't want people to die either, but I'm just gonna also say one thing on the female side of this. It is horrific when I see like a bikini woman that is like peeled, and her face is gone.
Yeah.
You guys, you are aging yourself by like 10 years, and maybe that's not your goal at this point, and maybe, you know, it is something else, whatever. But it looks terrible.
Lauren,
I'm sorry, it's not healthy. It's not bodybuilding to me.
Lauren,
it takes away from the beauty
well, when you first moved up, you'd just done a contest and you went down to what, 47 kilos?
46.5.
40. So Lauren prepped for a bikini show and, you know, brought her body weight right down. And I remember when you turned up and I hugged you and like there was nothing of it. And the thing is, I will say it, you look really aged.
My skin
it was like, yeah, it looked aged.
This, all right, like I've never looked like that in my entire life.
And you were 27, 28?
Oh my God, I'm old.
No, you were 20. Stop it. Stop it now. No, you were like 28. So anyway, my point is, you know, and then literally a couple of weeks later, and you just obviously came off your diet because you'd competed and, you know, you had competed and it was done. And then you started and you kind of went back to like looking your age and everything and it looked great. So maybe we do need to start having conversations for the men and the women about this, you know, conditioning being the be all and end all. And, but it looks like now with guys like Samson winning straight first, not just winning by a comfortable margin, at the Arnold Classic.
I've got to say one thing. What? I've started saving pictures of like some of my favorite like people. Yeah. I just cut your heads off now.
Okay.
Like I look at your bodies down. But I definitely want to have a bigger conversation with you. And I think you should definitely have a conversation with Milos. Please like this video if you'd like them to have a conversation about conditioning, so that they can get on with it.
Yeah. And also, Derek and Hadi, they were in good condition, but I've seen Hadi in better condition. I've seen Derek harder, you know. So, you know, that's the 1 and 2 at the Olympia. So maybe we are starting to see a shift, and maybe it is in response to some of the stuff that not just happens that we know about, but some of the guys passing out backstage. Some of these kinds of things that we're hearing about, stories that, you know, like I didn't know, like Milos told me about big names. Ronnie Coleman, the night before his first Olympia win, apparently had issues as well. So, you know, and imagine if Ronnie had dropped dead the night before he won the bloody Olympia, he'd be dead. And, you know, I mean, obviously, it's, you know, we want him alive. It's not just about the Olympia titles, but, you know, like I said, I think Milos really was triggered because I think he feels like it's gone too far now, and it's something we will be exploring more. And maybe, who knows, maybe we can have an effect, maybe we can do some good, but at least we're starting conversations about it. So that's my main thing. And obviously, Lauren, you can bring it back when you bring back Buff Bombshell Show, and you can have conversations, maybe because you're getting some in-studio guests. I just think maybe these are things you can bring up as well, because like women's physique, I mean, that is the conditioning, you know, for women to get shredded glutes. It's not just dangerous, you know, in the short term, but in the long term for women's health, for reproduction, you know, reproductive stuff. Women, you know, babies and stuff.
Yeah, we'll have a conversation.
Yeah. So anyway, right, okay, we're going to move on. Right, so some good came out of me and Milos. We love each other again, and we're all good now. We haven't fallen out, and I'm glad we spoke. And at least he had the decency to call me as well, not just do a video and I do a response video or start bitching and on Instagram or talking behind my back. He came to me direct, and we sorted it out there and then. It was very uncomfortable for about 10-15 minutes. There was a lot of shouting and screaming, but I'd rather do it that way. There, I've said it, and I think a lot of people could. It's really aggressive when people. It's a microaggression, isn't it? When you point your finger at people. Yeah. See, I wouldn't do that. Sorry. Very passive aggressive. When that's done, because I think people could avoid a lot of conflict and a lot of hassle, a lot of problems, a lot of drama if they actually just picked up the phone to each other or went and saw each other and spoke face to face. I think it would save a lot of problems. But agreed. Yeah. So I think it's you know, a lot of good came from that. So all's well that ends well, and we're all friends again, and no dramas, and no other outlets making videos about us with pictures of angry faces with boxing gloves on.
Yeah, until tomorrow.
Well, it's always next week, dear. So now, of course, finally, the next big contest on the calendar really is the Arnold Brazil, the Arnold South America, run by Tamer El-Guindi. And so that's really the next big event. I believe Sergio Oliva is down to do it, who had just something absolutely terrible happen to him. He accidentally he wasn't driving, he was driving fine, and he hit a guy on a moped or something, and the guy died. He got arrested for it, and there's no charges, nothing like that. He was just purely unlucky. So I really felt for him when I read that, because that's not something you can learn anything from. It's not like he was driving like an idiot or, he was drunk or anything. It was just one of those really, really unfortunate incidents. And I think it's really obviously it's really upset him, and he's really, it's really affected him. So stop finishing my sentences, dear. It's like bloody.
Sorry.
It's what really annoying couples do when they finish each other's sentences. Anyway, so hopefully we will see Sergio, because he's out in Dubai now as well. He's training at that Venus gym? Binus gym, yeah. So yeah, everyone was raving about this gym. Andrew Jack trains there, Sergio, Mohamed Foda, Ricardo, Larry Wheels, and of course Lewis Breed. So I imagine that's a really cool gym to train at, and it seems to be the place to be. Like Oxygen, is for Q8. This is the place where everyone is, needs to be in Dubai. Sorry, I'm getting tired now. I need to go to the gym, do some legs.
Yeah, it's kind of closing.
So basically the Arnold Brazil. Who else is doing it? I'm sure I've completely forgotten who else is doing it. But anyway, we will know more in the next few weeks for the Arnold Brazil. So so like I said, that will start hotting up in the next few weeks as we get more news, and obviously as we find out who the guys entering are, we'll try and get them on MD Global Muscle and try and build some hype for that event. Right, okay then, guys. This is still the latest issue of MD, so check that one out. Should have the new issue very, very soon. And I've just done the work for the issue after, so I've just handed all my work in for that. So so that is it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed this episode, this of MD Global Muscle. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell. And anything else you'd like to add, Lauren?
Have a great week, everyone.
Any sentences you'd like to
finish?
Right, okay then, guys. Well, as always, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for supporting. And ladies and gentlemen, we are out.